All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are being joined by our first guest of the evening. He is Cage Fury Fighting Championships heavyweight, Mr. Shawn Teed. Sean's coming off, his first professional loss, came short of capturing that heavyweight title, and is now slated to take on another champion here at CFFC 66. How excited are you for this? For this coming fight? It's another big test for you. Another champion in another organization, another chance to kind of grab some of that spotlight. How you feeling, brother?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. Amazing camp, stuff like that. Feeling fantastic leading up to this fight.
That's good, brother. I gotta ask you, man. It's one of these things. You had that first professional loss, and I'm actually a really big advocate on some of the younger guys that taking that L early in their career rather than later in their career. It kind of builds that character up. It's not as devastating as when you're at the top of the sport and whatnot. What did you learn from the loss to Zoo? I mean, were there things you were questioning about yourself afterwards? Or was it just, it just wasn't your night? He wound up getting the better of you.
Yeah, it was just one of those things. I just got caught with a punch. I trained really hard for that fight. It was one of those things that I definitely learned. Where I'm at. I can get rocked and keep chugging along. And it didn't go my way that night, but I'll definitely be back up there.
I don't think anyone's doubting your skill set, brother. You got a great group of guys around you. I mean, anyone who's paid attention to you or him knows that me and him have had a few words social media wise after picking you for that fight, but. I can't be friends with everyone. I take it on the chin. It is what it is. I still got none but respect for Zoo, regardless of how he feels about me. But I mean, at the end of the day, what's the one thing leaving that fight going into this fight that you feel that is an area you want to improve more
on? I did a lot more things. I hired a bunch of different coaches for this. I took my strength conditioning and a lot more serious. Hired a full-time Muay Thai coach, James Meals, had a driven MMA. Just a lot of, way more intense. I came off a big loss. A few of my teammates had some big losses, so we've been in there really, really. I would say this is the hardest camp I've had in a good way.
And there's nothing wrong with that. As long as the hard training doesn't go kind of overboard. I know what you mean. With all you guys going on losses, you guys are like a bunch of lions fighting over that last piece of steak that got thrown in there. So I'm sure that it's been hot and heavy over there at the training facility. But I mean, it's one of these things, man. It's just. It's good to see that you've taken this the right way. Some fighters, I just got caught by a punch. I don't need to change this. I don't need to change that. You see guys that sometimes they get on a nice little run and I don't think they need to do anything to kind of improve. I think where we're at in this sport, it doesn't matter if you're at the top of the mountain, the middle of the heat, the beginning of the pile. There's always something that could be taken from wins, from losses. That there's something to be learned every day. I mean, it's just the way this sport is, man. You can't stand still. You can't.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm also being joined by a guest co-host of the evening, my man Tommy from Pride Rules MMA podcast. Tommy, you got some questions for the big man here.
Yeah, Sean, how you doing, man? So I've been looking you up here. It seems like your wins have been coming a lot by key lock. Are you a jiu-jitsu guy?
Yeah, I'm actually a purple belt out of Ricardo Almeida's. I've been there about 6 years. A lot jiu-jitsu.
Oh, how about that? We're extended teammates. We're extended teammates. How about that? I'm out of Madama Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
That's cool, man. That's good. I love heavyweights that do jiu-jitsu. I think there need to be more of you guys out there. So you guys do more on the ground than standing and banging. It's definitely
it's definitely
give you a more lengthy career.
An underrated thing.
Absolutely. God, I wish it wasn't so underrated. I mean, you look at guys like Frank Mir, for example, probably one of the best jiu-jitsu guys at heavyweight. I hope you get to that pinnacle too, man.
Yeah, it's definitely something I strive to do. A lot of heavyweights just try to stand and bang. I like getting in, people in really creative submissions and stuff like that.
What's your favorite?
I'm more of an arm guy, but I'll take a neck if you give it to me.
You gotta bust out the Renzo Gracie short armbar, man. We haven't seen that in a really long time.
Yeah, it just especially leading up to this fight. I was fighting just a striker. Now I'm fighting basically a pure wrestler. So I think that plays really good into my jiu-jitsu wheelhouse.
So they switched opponents on you? Is that what I was saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm really used to opponent switches though. So when they called me and were like, "Hey, Keith can't fight," I don't know what was going on. I didn't really read too much into it. And then we got this other guy that's a champ of a different league. He stepped up, and he was already on my radar. He fought on the same card Shorty did. So, he was already there. I was already looking at some of the stuff. So, it was a matter of time before we ran across to each other.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot with these other organizations like Ring of Combat. Like one of my teammates, when he was in the amateurs, his fight would always get canceled the night of the fight. Is that continuing to be a steady problem in these smaller organizations where the night of or right before these guys have to pull out of fights for, crazy reasons?
Not so much with the CFFC and stuff like that. Especially they have alliance. They're in alliance now, so they have so many places to pull from now. At pro, I haven't really seen the day before. For I think it was my second or third pro fight. I had 2 or 3 opponent changes within the last 2 weeks of the fight. So that was really hectic.
What did you have to change up for your camp for the change of opponent?
I didn't really have to change really anything. I'm a main training partner of Corey Anderson, one of them, and he's a phenomenal wrestler. So him grinding into me, stuff like that, I'm used to that. That's every day. I'm used to that. So I didn't really have to change anything. I didn't. With Keith, he likes to throw huge bombs. This guy kind of likes to shoot in, try to take you down, ground and pound you a little bit. So it wasn't really that difficult of a switch.
Oh, nice. Well, you know what? I mean, he wants to put you on your back. I'm sure Ricardo's got plenty of tricks for you off your back.
Yeah, Steve knows I have some really weird stuff off my back.
Listen, you're saying that you keep thinking that he's hitting key locks. He's not hitting key locks. He's hitting the T-lock. Because it basically, it was basically an inverted submission that, he's the first person to land in the professional fight, and then he just kept landing it. And, not just off his back. I think a lot of people are kind of trying to put Shawn into the specialist category, and this guy just trains it on all areas. Yes, I'm a bit biased and very high on Shawn, but I have reason to be that way. So as far
as there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
But the thing is, if you could get. Go.
Yeah, but if you can get the same submission every time, you know what I mean? There's nothing boring about that. I mean, Ronda Rousey hit an armbar on everybody. You know what I mean? If you can find yourself and get yourself into position to get that same submission, nothing wrong with that at all. That just means you've trained to get yourself there every time, and that's a testament to his coaches. That's all that means.
I agree. But that's why I'm so high on Shawn is he's got the right group around him, and even with that amazing team that he has around him, you just heard what he said. He's brought in more people to make him sharper, to make him stronger, to make him better. This is a guy who diligently works on his craft, and I just think that the guy that we've seen, fall short in that heavyweight title fight isn't the guy that we're going to see, come CFFC 66. It's going to be a different story. Yes, he has another tough task in front of him, but not anything that he hasn't prepared for. Is Jahaua Marsh gonna bring a fight to Shawn? Absolutely. I think it's an amazing matchup, and as even Shawn said, this is a guy who's been on his radar that he's been having his eyes on, and it's just the way it happens. So I'm really excited for this fight. I'll always have be a little bit biased towards Shawn, but at the same time, this guy, he knows that he's still learning. He has a lot more room to grow in this sport, and he's making sure he's doing everything he needs to do that. And actually, one of the things I want to ask you, Shawn, did you hear the ABC is adopting more weight classes, and there's a weight class between 65 and 205 now? Is that something that might interest you as you get a little bit older and explore more options, have other fights, etc.?
Yeah, I saw something about that. I didn't actually pay attention to what the weight class was that they were putting in, though.
I think it's 165. I think that's what I saw at 165.
No. What they did, it was 65. It was 165, 175, and 225 was the ones that the ABC have adopted. So it's the same thing like with the rules. Rules hadn't been adopted yet by the ABC, but this is something that is in play. From what I see, the UFC isn't going to abide by that. They're going to still go by the 55, 70, 85, 205, etc. But I was just wanted to see what Shawn thought about it. The fact that there is that weight class in between there now.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I would go to 225, but it definitely gives a lot more room for people that can't really cut to 205, but they can cut to 225. Me, I always weigh in about like 250, so the door's not shut. If it was the opportunity was there, I'd probably talk about it.
Now, the other side of that is if a lot of promotions and regardless if the UFC does or doesn't, but if a lot of these promotions do adopt that, are you worried about some of these guys that might be potential fights for you that might kind of disappear and go to that weight class? It might make it even more difficult to find quality fighters for the heavyweights. Actually.
Yeah. Finding heavyweights at any weight are super hard. If that was the other thing, we definitely would lose some people, but hopefully having access to all these other different leagues will open up so many different fight opportunities for not even just me, for other heavyweights in the CFFC, because not really too many of us right now.
Yeah, that was the other. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say if I could see any organization doing it like before the UFC, I would see Bellator doing it, and maybe World Series of Fighting, just to try and see if they can get that edge on the UFC to get more guys onto their roster. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I could see happening.
I'll just say this much as far as that goes. If they would have brought in this weight class in 10 years ago, can you imagine how much more of a dangerous or legendary fighter that Fedor would have been? Because that's basically where he walks around. He walks around in like 230. So I mean, I'd be like, you would have to cut 5 pounds. He wouldn't be fighting these these mammoth freaking heavyweights that he had fought most of his career.
Yeah, but like football and basketball are taking these bigger guys because they can pay them $30 million a year. You know what I mean? Not a lot of guys that are, Shawn's size are, if they can play professional football, they're going to do that. That's the problem. These guys aren't getting paid enough. That's what I think. These guys aren't getting paid even close to enough money.
Yeah, I think that, most fighters, fans can unanimously agree that they all should get taken care of a little bit more. Both from a regional side, and especially in the UFC. The UFC is, I'm not even gonna beat that dead horse. I beat it enough on this show. But actually, speaking of the UFC, I got to ask you, Shawn, were you surprised with the what happened in the main event last night for UFC 124 or 114 actually?
No, I wasn't really surprised. I actually had a conversation with Kristen beforehand. I was like, I think I'll finish it in like the first 3 with something weird. And then he just hit him with that left high kick, and that was a straight shin to the face.
Yeah, I think the craziest part was what happened afterwards when they finally got to him, and like he didn't really know what was going on. I was like, and a lot of people were basically likes to make fun of Jones that he doesn't have knockout power. Well, he literally was the first person to stop Daniel Cormier, and the guy literally did not know where he was, what happened, what was going on. So as much as as people like to bag on John, yeah, he did his damn thing. He's even more now so solidified himself as the quote-unquote GOAT status because his resume is beyond impressive, regardless if you feel like he was cheating or whatever. That find another guy on that list with the names that he has, and also what I think that he's got that makes 5 potential UFC Hall of Famers that he has stopped. Come on, man.
Yeah, I would think that's what he needed to do. He needed to, after that, all this drama and all the canceled fights and everything, he needed to go out there and stop him. If he didn't went out there and won via decision and stuff like that, he needed to go out there and finish him. And that's what he did.
I think it was the first time out of his last 5 fights that he had a stoppage.
Yeah, I
remember seeing that somewhere, but
yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but you got to look at those other fights. The Gustafsson fight, that was a war. The only fight that I still question in my head is the OSP fight. That's the only one that I still question because that was just too weird for me. He should have been able to put OSP out.
But my
you know what I mean? You look at what
Go ahead.
Well, you just look what he did to Shogun. I mean, Shogun is, at one time was the GOAT. Let's just say, you know what I mean? He was they loved him in Pride. He was doing work in the UFC, and John Jones beat him like he owed him money. You know what I mean? He just destroyed him. And you look at what he did to Vitor, and you're going to tell me he's going to go 5 rounds with OSP? OSP is a great fighter, but he's not on John Jones's level. You know what I mean? So that fight was a little bit strange to me. And if that John Jones came out against Daniel Cormier was going to put him out. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's why Daniel's probably kicking himself right now, because if he didn't get injured for that fight, he would have gotten that John Jones. And that John Jones, he would have probably did whatever he wanted to. It's just the way the cards fall sometimes. I also think John didn't take that fight 100% serious after Daniel fell out, regardless if it was OSP or not. And people also tend to forget, as much as we bag on him people bag on him for the OSP fight, he broke his arm in that damn fight, and OSP fought through that. So take it for however you want. John's the GOAT. He needs to fight Gustafsson next, and I can't wait for that one, hopefully.
Well, Shawn, I want to ask you, since you're a heavyweight, what do you think about him calling out Brock Lesnar? What kind of fight do you think that would be? You're a guy that's 265 pounds, and maybe Jones can get up to like 230. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know about that. It's one of those things that Brock Lesnar is a monster. So, I think that he might just do what he did to Randy Couture and just run across the ring and tackle him. But I don't know if that fight would go through. It's just really just a money fight. So I don't really think it has. I think if he said he wants to go up to heavyweight, I think that they should make him fight like Stipe or something like that, like something that's actually going to mean something.
I'm going to throw it in there. I'm going to throw it in there. Hold on a second.
Okay.
I'm going to throw it in there. Shawn, if argument's sake, you get matched up with Brock Lesnar, how do you beat that man? You're a heavyweight. He's an amazing athlete, but we all see that he doesn't like getting popped in the face.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't like getting punched, and he doesn't like getting hit in the body at all. Over him kicked in the body like 7 times, and he just.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, I mean I don't blame him, but if that's a weak spot, you gotta it's the fight game. If you know somebody has a weak in a certain area, that's what you attack. So.
He doesn't know how to defend heel hooks.
Yeah.
That's the route that you can go, the heel hook route.
Yeah, the submission route.
I know Ricardo and those guys can teach you about heel hooks.
Yeah, 100%. Because I'm like Gary Toonin and all those guys are on our team too, and you don't even if those guys even grab for your leg, you're like already pre-tapping. So.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Speaking of which, I want to get your take on something that's going on within the team. You had the whole Dylan Dennis talking crap about Tom. What do you think would happen if Tom was actually able to secure a match against Dylan? How fast that thing would be over?
Dude, Tom's an animal.
Yeah.
He's not a guy you want to get on his bad side. He's such a humble guy, but he got that mean streak in him. You don't really want to get him to that point where he's going to want to hurt you.
Yeah, we have a bunch of our guys training over there with Tom right now because they're all on that ready to fight card that Tom's on. So we got a few of our guys over there. That place looks like it's just filled with a bunch of monsters. Like just tear your limb off and pat you on the head when they're done, monsters.
Yeah, give it back to you in a baggie, right?
Yeah. Now, would you be interested in doing those?
Yeah.
Would you be interested in doing those?
Yeah, I'd be interested in doing those things. I was having so many fights planned, back to back for a while. I really couldn't focus on jiu-jitsu. Before I started fighting, I did a lot of jiu-jitsu tournaments, but I had so many fights planned back to back to back. I really I didn't know if I had a fight, if I could compete. So, I was always going from fight camp to fight camp. So, if I have some time after this one, I don't know what, is on the horizon. I don't know who they're going to give me next, if they're going to give me Zoo, if they're going to give me whoever. I don't know what he's doing. So, if I have some time, I'll be more than happy to do some of these tournaments.
It seems like it's another cool way for you guys to make money. You know what I mean? Where you're not getting punched in the face.
Yeah, it's a good thing, especially for the sport of just jiu-jitsu. Starting to get some of these guys that are, these phenomenal jiu-jitsu practitioners to, be able to make money and, pay for some bills, pay for training, stuff like that, and be a pure jiu-jitsu guy. That really wasn't an option for some of these guys, a few years ago.
Now, you just put it out there, Shawn. You mentioned the man. You mentioned the Cage Fury heavyweight champion. There is a rematch something that you want? Is that something you crave?
Yeah, I asked for the rematch on this one, and I don't know. It got turned down somewhere along the line. He just recently fought too. He won. Hats off to him for getting his win. But if he's still around in the CFFC and he has that belt, my end game is I want that belt. So I don't care if I fight him or I fight somebody else for it. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, that's my goal, is to get that and then go on from there.
I got to ask you, I am assuming you watched the Contender Series fight, right?
Yeah.
Does that make you concerned seeing that the performance he put on against the guy that he was fighting gets the stoppage and still doesn't get the contract, does that kind of worry you moving forward about how they're looking at heavyweights?
Not really. He really, like, I'm just being pretty honest. He didn't do really anything in the first round. The guy was landing some decent punches in the first round. That's the thing about it. Like in my fight, I let him hang around. He caught me with the punch. This guy let him hang around. He caught him with the punch. Not taking anything away from him. He hits hard. I know first person. The guy hits super hard. But he needs to do that in the first round, honestly. And especially in that type of opportunity when they say we're only giving contracts to one or two people. You need to go out there and slug somebody right in the first round, honestly.
Yeah, sometimes as you said, you can't give guys like that opportunities to hang around, but also, when you have opportunities like that, and you just have to go after it from the get-gate, and let the cards fall where they may.
Yeah, like I just had a teammate, Carl, fight, and he KO'd the guy with an elbow in 15 seconds. And he got a contract off of that. That's the type of statement you need to go out there on that kind of platform, where nothing's guaranteed. None of those guys are guaranteed any contracts, and you have to be impressive. You can't just get the W and think you're gonna get a contract. But hey, he won in devastating fashion. Hey, I'm happy for him. But if I can get a rematch, I'd more than be happy to give him a rematch.
Shawn, to talk about Carl, I loved watching that. I mean, I'm in total support of more New Jersey guys being in the UFC. But what really confused me with how lack the light heavyweight division is, why are they asking this guy to drop weight when he did so well at light heavyweight? I mean, that's ridiculous to me. Of course he's going to say yes because he wants the contract. But why wouldn't they just give him a fight at light heavyweight just to see what he does? They need more exciting fighters in that division.
Yeah, I don't know. I said that to a few of my teammates too, that, why wouldn't they have him fight at 205? But, hey, at the end of the day, if your boss tells you got to fight in this weight class, you got to do what you got to do. Maybe he'll get that opportunity. Maybe after, a few fights at 185, if he goes in there and dominates people, that could put him on that radar. Or, if they could go put him up to 205. But I don't honestly know if he would want to, because that's Corey's weight class too. So, and Corey's not going down to 85 anytime soon. So
I'd hope not. I wouldn't want to see Corey at 85. I think he's perfect right at that weight class.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's just weird. You know what I mean? They have like no depth. The two divisions they have no depth in is the heavyweight and the light heavyweight. Like they should be focusing more on that.
Yeah, it's a lot of people say it's just time for them to do something with those divisions. Bring in some really crazy people, but maybe they just think that will be a better fit. Maybe they see a lack on their end of up and coming 185ers. I'm not really sure what division, who's the champ of that. So yeah.
Because I mean, I've never in all the years that I've watched MMA see a guy get finished with 3 short elbows pressed against the fence before. I've never seen that. I mean, that guy must have serious power.
Yeah, he throws with bad intentions at practice. It's one of those things that if you catch him in a bad mood and he's swinging, you're like, I got to take this guy down right now because I don't want it to be at the end of any of this stuff.
Yeah, it's so funny with your weight class, and pretty much from your weight class to 185, the margin for error is so small, where it could just be over with one punch or one good kick. Like it's unbelievable.
Yeah, the room for error is very minuscule in those weight classes because you got guys that are big dudes that have a lot of muscle, have a lot of weight, especially in heavyweight, that you swing those paws, and you land, somebody's going to sleep.
Yep. 4-ounce gloves, big men equals crazy power.
Yeah, exactly.
But just realizing the time here, we gotta wrap this one up, Shawn. Always a pleasure talking to you. You know, appreciate you you giving some time before the fight here. You know how we do this. You know, throw the microphone over to you. Anyone you want to thank, give shout outs to, shoot out your sponsors, thank coaches, etc. The time is yours, my friend.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Like always, you know, you guys are always really nice to me on here. Yeah, I'd like to thank Ricardo Almeida, BJJ, Nick Catone, MMA, All-Star Sports Academy, some of my sponsors. I have Ed's Tools, Advanced Back and Neck Care, keeping me healthy all the time, John and Molly's Restaurant, just a bunch of, and my big one, which is actually one of the main sponsors for CFFC 66, is Eat Clean Bro. So, you know, they're always stuff, you know, Jamie, all those guys over there are phenomenal. If you're in the area, they deliver all the way to Philly now. So they are phenomenal. So that's, you know, everybody I want to give a thing out to, you know, my family, my friends, my girlfriend, everybody. Thank you, guys.
It's always a pleasure. Looking forward to the fight. As always, brother, best of skill to you and your opponent. Hopefully you both get out of there injury-free. Hopefully you get the result you're looking for. As always, Shawn, thanks for your time, brother. You have a good evening.
Thank you.
Good luck,
you guys
bro.
too.